What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the JR Wisdom channel. I want to thank you all for returning, new and old subscribers alike. If you're new to my channel, make sure y'all click on, make sure you subscribe first of all. Make sure you click on the bell to receive all the notifications for all my videos. So I'm back once again. Hopefully I can stay on without getting blocked, flagged, or any of those good things. Because if you see my previous video, I was discussing this campaign that's currently going on to take a lot of your YouTubers down and take their channels down because of certain opinions towards, certain people and groups, which I, won't say. So this topic right here, I just felt that, I've discussed it earlier before about the beta male prophecy, as I like to call it, and sugar daddies, simps, and blue pill poppers. And when I say blue pill, I don't mean in terms of Viagra or something like that. I mean blue pill as far as metaphorically, so to speak, with the Matrix, the blue and the red pill. For those of you who've seen it, or if you haven't seen it, you can look it up. But I'll get into that in this video as well. So hopefully this video will stay on without any issues. So I'm going to be discussing this concept, which I said, is very close to home for me. I've said this in previous videos, and the concept of the beta male or the simps, who I obviously, you guys probably know I despise these gentlemen. So this beta male, he's, and when I'm giving this prophecy along the way with this video, the beta male, he is the antithesis of the alpha. As much as, like I say, I hate using those terms, alpha, beta, just to convey this point across in a simple manner. He is the antithesis of the alpha, and at times he can also be the antagonist of the alpha male. I'm making this also because it seems like, especially in the female YouTube arena, feminist female YouTube arena, they're wanting to direct more of our channels towards being beta male channels or blue pill channels, channels edifying behaviors and certain dysfunctional behaviors of particular women, which is based upon this movement is what you're probably going to end up having to see as far as YouTubers doing this. But I digress, and I'm just going to continue to, as I said, to get my opinions on this. So the origin of the beta male, before we get into the actual prophecy, which is pretty simple. The origin of the beta male, we can assume how it started. We can discuss it being obviously a lot of people said it started way back, thousands of years ago, hundreds of thousands of years ago, with the hunters and the gatherers, and the gatherer, as opposed to the hunter, was the beta male because he wasn't out doing manly stuff, stabbing, killing, hunting these animals, the meat, the food. He was just gathering berries and fruits and vegetables and things of that nature, and he worked along with the women, and he was a homemaker. You can say all these different things. Some people will say it started with the Renaissance, and even before that, even times of William Shakespeare, finding a way to get to the woman by being this kind, gentle, only edifying the woman, putting her up on a pedestal where a woman can do no wrong, and basically a woman just being, she deserves everything just by the virtue of her being a woman. She doesn't have to earn anything. She doesn't have to, basically everything should just be given to her by her just being born a woman, and many of these men feel this way, and that's where the simping comes in, and all these other men. These men, and a lot of them who get in these relationships from simping and things like that, they, in Matrix style, which I'm discussing with the blue pill, they opt to take this blue pill, even though they've been presented with a path, they opt to take it because not come they'd rather not come to terms with the reality of, you know, reality of the matter. They'd rather just take the blue pill and just be uh be a simp, you know, because they feel they a lot of there's certain characteristics of these beta males, and Alan Roger Currie, he's discussed this as far as, you know, mode 2 and mode 3 of these type of men, um from the inception or from birth or just being reared as young men. It can be developed early or later on in life. A lot of these men can be looked at as mama's boys, always up under their mothers. You know, it can be started out like that. A lot of these men start out as boys, where they are teased at a young age. They might have been overweight kids. They might have been called ugly by girls or picked on, you know, as a youth. Or, you know, and like I said, they could have just been mama's boys and just been, you know, being that child boyfriend of the mother at a young age. And not saying you're not supposed to edify your mother, but when you get to the point where you're looking at it as you're the boyfriend of the mother, is a different story, which I've spoken on that before also. Um, as I said, men may feel that way because they're teased at it as a young age that they're not attractive. They have low self-esteem, and they just have a hard time talking to women. You know, they may be raised properly, but when it comes to certain things, the way they conduct themselves, they might not. They might have certain morals and principles that are questionable. Um, and in turn, they tend to cater to by rejection. They tend to be thin-skinned. They tend to cater to women in order to earn her affection. You know, and like I said, a lot of these men, as many of you may have met, they tend to use their financial status as a way of gaining a woman's company or being able to talk to a woman. These men are very thin-skinned and they can't take rejection by women. And there are a lot of men who aren't beta males who just can't take rejection by men. Women, for the most part, naturally can't take rejection. Men deal with rejection mostly all their lives. This is a concept from women that they, not to say that women don't get rejected, but women mostly, and mostly beautiful women, never have to deal with rejection. But men, more so, they replace this with money to avoid being rejected. They can't take a woman uh, saying anything negative to them, you know. And the mode 3 guy obviously tries to impress these women by with money. Hence the sugar daddy. The sugar daddy tries to win over the woman. You know, typically a lot of times these guys, you like to look at them as older men. You know, a lot of these men could be married, and I've discussed this earlier, and I'll probably get on to this later. That they're just married, but they're no longer attracted to their wife, but they will take upon a younger woman, and this younger woman may not even have anything going for her but her looks, but they're willing to spend their money, spend their dollars. This woman may even have uh, be quite dysfunctional, have her own issues, but the fact that she's pretty, they'll overlook all of this. They'll pay her bills, they'll pay for her kids, they'll do anything to win this woman's affection just for the sake of saying they have some eye candy, or they can go around and take her about, you know, and say, I have this pretty woman, but I'm old and washed up, you know. And there are dudes that's, you know, date women their same age, but they're not attractive men, so they have to use these the vanity approach, or use these, you know, possessions to achieve the company of a woman, you know. And they'll shower a woman with gifts just based upon, like I said, the simple fact that she is a beautiful woman and that she deserves it based upon her beauty, which is the stupidest thing ever, you know. But this happens all the time. A lot of these guys, they let the woman make all the decisions and they're dominated by the woman. You know, even some of them are abused, verbally abused. and like I said, I'll get into a few of these guys here if not to talk too long to you guys, but obviously I've ran into guys like this in my life who they'll take verbal abuse, they'll take abuse from the woman. The woman, what she says goes. It's like they're walking on eggshells. Um, Anything that they say to the woman, they may be afraid of her response. They're afraid to be criticized or insulted by this woman based off what they're saying. So they have to walk on eggshells. There was a point in my life when I was trying to keep my marriage, and trying when my ex-wife had lost it and had a breakdown, and she was trying to do all these things, and she was threatening, to leave me and the children. There was a point where I was trying to pacify the situation, and I would walk on eggshells as far as, just to keep her, which is the way I looked at it, to keep her uh, in the home with us, just to keep her from leaving. I rejected my true self or put my feelings to the side, and I would let her get away with saying certain things, you know, and the more you do it, the more the person doesn't respect you by allowing these things. So she just kept doing that up until the point where I just was like, the hell with this. And that was the point where she just basically said, okay, if I'm not going to be able to do this, I want to do these certain things. I want to party. I want to go out, and you're not going to tell me what I can and can't do. This is my life. I want to party. So that's what she ended up doing because I wouldn't tolerate that. And she picked up this behavior from other women who she saw doing this to other men who were simps. And these men were her husbands. If you haven't seen my other video, I speak about this, and in my book, if you read my book, I talk about this as well, about, my brother-in-law and my sister. He was just a straight up simp. He earned her. This is a good thing of a simp. He's a shorter man, so he probably had a complex because of that. The way he earned her company was by showering gifts before, he drove 300 miles just to buy her a pair of heels, just to earn her company, just to be in her company. And he would shower her with these gifts to earn her affection. Keep in mind, she was already married 3 times and had 3 kids already. But he wanted her company so bad, he did all of this. And she was still, even after they got married, she would still go out, have sex with other men, and still talk to him any kind of way, So my ex-wife figured that she could pick up on this as well. My sister's friend did the same thing. I talk about this. She would put hands on this guy in front of people, talk crazy. And that's another sign, talk crazy in front of people. And these men are, a lot of times they're so afraid to say anything to these women for fear of losing the woman to another man, so they will just let the woman do as she pleases, just for fear of just losing the woman altogether. But the prophecy that I have to give you guys is, if you conduct yourself in this manner, it's only a matter of time anyway. These women like this will typically use the men, especially with these sugar daddies, and even the beta males. They'll use the men to get into the position that they want to be in financially, or get their own place, get their own thing set up. Then they'll end up leaving these men, which I've seen it too many times, not just with these guys, but they'll just end up leaving. If they don't leave, it's just going to be a continued cycle of a dysfunctional relationship. And this is what happens. These men who, and I said before, you said, how can people have asked me when I talked about a beta male having alpha traits? These men who try to offer finances and their money to get the attention of women, they try to offer, let me buy you something, let me pay your light bill, let me pay this, let me pay your car note, let me put some gas in your thing. And Roger Currie talks about this. They tend to promise women, the undying sense of indefinite marital or relationship monogamy. And these are a lot of the simps who play these women too, but not just these guys who offer financial. These men, and like I said, they're not the woman's first choice, but just the fact that they have the finances to be able to shower on this woman, she'll put up with that. And a lot of women out here, get themselves, or even married men that they're really not even attracted to. It's just for financial stability at the end of the day, and they're just good pretenders. The woman really doesn't want these men for a long-term romantic relationship, but they prefer these men, because of they're able to be in control in their relationship. But these women tend to end up having sex with or sleeping with the alpha male anywhere. A lot of times, these men who don't have the same amount of assets, and resources that this beta would have. So a woman's always going to end up going for the man that she wants, even though has this financial support and things like that. And it happens all too often. So, these two guys I named before, one of them is still with his wife, but she's still doing her thing. And the other one, his wife left him. My sister's, she left her husband after he did all this stuff, and he was trying to talk me into being a guy like him. You need to be more like, you need to do this, you need to do that. And as a man, something inside you, and it didn't sit right with my spirit. Even with me walking on eggshells, it didn't sit right with my spirit. I was in a state of misery of being this person who wasn't me. But a lot of these men, I guess they feel so natural in this aspect. You got a guy who's not so much like the 40-year-old virgin. He's not so much a simp, but he was afraid, he was timid and just scared of talking to women, things like that, and being ran over by certain women, because he didn't have that confidence, and it was just something about him. He had a traumatic experience at a young age which led up to this. It's something that I feel it's not going away. It's becoming more and more prevalent. In the case, and like I said, I talk about my personal experience because for me it's unreal the lengths that a lot of these men will go to, the sugar daddy simps and the blue pill poppers, in my case is something that I don't have to deal with it per se, but I've gotten past the point where I've had to deal with someone as a single parent. I think I told you guys my ex-wife was facing charges. If you read my book, you know what I'm talking about. She was facing charges. I was still married to her. She was refusing to divorce me, but she was on the grounds of making me suffer, but she was sleeping with other men. So because of the situation she was in, she could only find herself. No man wants to be with a woman who has a bunch of issues and problems unless he's just a simp. If she's a liability, no man really wants a liability that he has to come out of his pocket. But she found herself, as I said, it's an older man, an older sugar daddy who's washed up. He's out of shape, and he was the only one who's willing to put up with her behavior. This woman had no car, no place to stay. This woman was facing felony charges. She didn't have custody of her kids. And she was just in this situation. But this man was willing to not only help her out with and pay her child support, he would drive her from point A to point B. He got her own job. He shows up with her to my son's football game while we're still married on a few occasions. They attempt to, because there was a no contact order between me and her, they attempt to film me while I'm with my son and antagonize me in order for me to act out of character so that they could get this footage and report me to the police. They attempted to do this. This is a man that's doing this now. This is a super simp that did this. He shows up to, because she got arrested, and at her bond, she eventually got arrested. This is later on. He shows up to her bond. He gets her an attorney. This is legally my wife now. And he gets her an attorney after she gets arrested. He shows up to her bond hearing, and the judge asks, "Well, who are you?" He's like, "Well, I'm a friend. I never knew her to act in this way. This is crazy. I didn't know about this." He goes and bonds her out. She gets arrested twice. He goes and bonds her out twice while all this stuff is going on. And he continues to, basically bail her out continuously. And you have men like this who, when you fall in that low where you have to pick up a woman, a lot of these sugar daddies do this. They pick up a dysfunctional woman when you've gotten to that point where you can't just get a regular woman. And when I say regular, a woman that's void of, all these inconsistencies and dysfunction, and just a regular woman. That's just super simping to me. So the prophecy I have for you beta men who can't get out, and you're stuck in this, is that, and this is the prophecy I give to you, is that your relationship will not last. If it does, it's going to be a dysfunctional relationship at best, as I said. Women ultimately don't want a simp. I don't care how much you see these guys and how much women post on social media. Oh, I wish a guy would do this. I wish a guy would do that. A guy will do all these things, and a woman still will complain about it, or still won't want this man. And if this guy does this thing, she has a guy that she can tote on a leash, she'll have no respect for you. You'll never have the respect of this woman. As much as a woman will say otherwise, you'll never have respect for it. And she'll sit back and pretend up until death do you part. You're just, for the most part, you'll be used until the woman can find a better man, or she can get on her feet to move on and get something better. You're going to lose in the end. You're going to be heartbroken, but this is what you choose to do because you're blind and you're taking this blue pill and you've been put back to sleep into the matrix. So I've seen it over and over again, not just with those instances, but I've seen it over and over. It happens, and this is just a part of the human condition that's come about, and that's just what it is. So that's the prophecy I have for you. If you're just willing to be dismissive of it and just say, hey, as long as I'm getting mine, I don't care what happens. That's on you. So that's all I got. Let me hear your comments, your simp stories. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Just by all means, please like the video, share the video. I'm closing in on 1,000. I thank all you guys for subscribing and for you constantly tuning in. Hopefully this video doesn't get flagged or nothing like that. At 1,000, I'm going to start doing live chats. If that's something you guys would like me to do, I'll probably start doing live chats maybe a couple times a week. Hopefully I get some people to tune in. That way we can discuss whatever topics, but that's once I reach 1,000, I can do the super chat and all that good stuff. If go ahead and subscribe. Like I said, subscribe. Hit the bell. That way you get the notifications. Follow me on social media. Links is in the description. Amazon, link is there. Email me. Link is in the description. Anything you like me to discuss, hit me on there. And yeah. I just want people should be able to give their opinion on things without fear of someone getting, you can get upset, but don't go as far as trying to get somebody's stuff taken down. YouTube shouldn't just be about a one-sided opinion, or if it affects you and it hits you to the core, why try to take it? You don't have to watch it. You know what I'm saying? Just like you guys, if you don't like my content, you don't have to watch mine. You can unsubscribe. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. But I'll catch you guys on the next video. Remember, anything lost can be found again except for time wasted. And we'll definitely catch you guys on the next video. All right, peace.